Welcome everyone to In Other Worlds, the World RPG, Gamelit, and Fantasy podcast. My name is Jess. I'm the host, and today we have Aaron Michael Ritchey. Aaron, how are you?
Dude, we're doing this thing. I'm super excited.
I feel weird calling you Aaron. For some reason I always just want to call you Aaron Michael Ritchie.
That's right. That's right. It's
I
branding.
like
It's
the way that
branding,
sounds.
Jessica. It's branding.
I like the way it flows better than just calling you Aaron.
Yeah, Aaron Michael Ritchie. Boom. You're not alone. I'm a three bird. I tried to fit my name into two names, but big personality didn't fit. So I needed a third name.
That's why.
Yeah,
That's why.
a little bonus, I need a little extra dimensional
Well,
space. That's
extra.
what it's like the Michael is the bag of holding for the personality. If you remove the
There we
Michael, I would be like 98% less. So, okay.
hmm There
Yes,
we
Aaron
go.
Michael Ritchie.
Yes. So you have published, gosh, what? You've written, what, 70 books at this point?
83.
83. That is so many books.
So
We are
many
not going to
books.
talk about all of them.
Oh yeah, yes we are. Every single one of them. Published and unpublished. I have 13 books that I haven't published. 13.
Um, but we will talk about your two most recent series.
Yeah.
So we've got Shadowcroft Academy for Dungeons,
Amen to that, sister.
which is a fantastically wacky,
Really?
wholesome
Really?
series,
Wacky.
and I
You would
loved it.
the work of my life you're calling wacky. It's a meditation on the
You
importance.
can't say it wasn't wacky.
It's a meditation on the importance of silverware in dungeons, um,
Which we are going to talk about at some point.
and twine, and
And
taxes.
twine.
It covers everything. So forget the digital. Anyway, Shadowcroft Academy for Dungeons,
Yes,
uh,
and the Dungeon Accountant series.
Dungeon Accountant.
So give us a little rundown on each of these books.
Okay. Oh, we're just diving in.
Yeah,
Now,
I don't play around.
so Shadowcroft Academy for Dungeons
Mhm.
is the story of a guy who he finds like a discount gaming machine in like a thrift store, and and there's one game, and it's like how to build, it's like a dungeon, building your own dungeon game. So he loves this game, so he plays it, he beats the game, and when he beats the game, the console is actually a mimic, comes alive, grabs him with tentacles, pulls him in, and like eats him, like he feels his flesh shredded. He gets isekai'd and he winds up in the world of Shadowcroft. And basically, he's like, "Wait a minute, did you last Starfighter me?" And he's like, "Yeah, we did."
Yeah,
Did
yeah,
we? Which last Starfighter is probably not a good reference. We probably should have did Ender's Game. Did you Ender's Game me?
yeah. I mean, also, as time goes on, less and less people are gonna get that reference,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
So anyway, so we got Last Starfighter. So this is a recruiting tool that the Shadowcroft, that the dungeon, and there's not just the Shadowcroft Academy for Dungeons, but basically it's a university system that takes people and it trains them how to be lethal dungeons, because in our world the dungeons are the good guys, because every world is connected to the Tree of Souls with a node, and their job is to protect that node while evil dungeoneers come. So if they destroy the node, they get a bunch of like apothos, which is our magic like mana or whatever. And then they drain the world, they kill the world, but then they become like gods, right? So yeah,
Hmm.
like I've just committed genocide, but I get to be a god now. So, it all works out in the end.
Yeah,
Um
it evens out.
and so the dungeons are there to protect these nodes. And so the university system is literally saving worlds one by one by teaching people how to be a dungeon. So our guy, Logan Murray, has to get a class. But of course, Earth doesn't have a lot of magic because, you just listen to the news. And that's very apparent. Like you go outside. Um, and so he doesn't have a lot of like natural pathos. And so he doesn't get like he doesn't get a dragon, or he doesn't get like the cool, right? He gets like a putrid ratling, and he's like, "I don't wanna be a putrid ratling."
Mm,
He could be a
no.
slime dungeon, he's like, "I don't wanna be a slime dungeon."
Mhm.
And they're like, "Well, you could be a mushroom," but they fall apart. They don't have a lot of
They don't last very
So
long.
Logan Murray
Stoically.
spends a lot of time getting dismembered in these books, but it's all done in fun. So he becomes a mushroom, he becomes a fungaloid, um, and, uh, and it's like an underpowered class, and so he has to, like, figure out like, he doesn't have a lot of power, and so he has to figure out really how to, get his powers. So then the book is him his freshman year at the Shadowcroft Academy for Dungeons. He hooks up with a bunch of other kind of like, a wacky
Misfits.
like a wacky like there was like this gnome, Treacle Glimmer Happy, who's,
Mhm.
who's a huge minotaur, but he was like this candied like gnome who loves he didn't like candy. He came from a candy
He sort of
planet.
hurt his stomach.
Yeah, it's terrible for you. He's like a depressed minotaur, and then you have Inga, who is this brilliant bird woman who becomes a, butterfly because they have their bodies, right? They have their dungeon,
Mhm.
guardian bodies. Um, Logan is our mushroom guy, and then his best friend is Marco, who is a satyr, who is a prince. He's like this rich prince who accidentally it's a long story. Drinking was involved. He becomes a satyr, and so we when we meet Marco, he's he's there in the like the cafeteria, and he's sliding through beer on the floor because he has hooves, and he's like, "I love having hooves. Hooves is the greatest thing in the world. Don't have to wear shoes.
Right.
Don't have to deal with socks, dude. You know, hooves are great."
Yeah,
That's
standard of a drinking problem
so yeah. So yeah, I
or
don't know
a
if
drinker with a satyr problem.
I don't know if I'm a I don't know if I'm a goat with a drinking problem or a drunk with a goat problem. Ah,
And
Marco.
that phrase right there is like him the entire
Yeah,
series.
yeah.
That's just classic Marco.
There's good pathos, and so James is convinced that he's like Logan, and then I'm a self-insert for Marco, but that is not true. I disagree. I'm
Yeah.
very different than Marco. Marco's a lot more carefree. I'm not carefree. And I don't drink. I don't drink at all. It's like no alcohol for me. So
Well, definitely not a Marco then. Over in book 3, eh,
he
he
cuts
doesn't
back.
drink as much.
He cuts back.
He does cut back.
Yeah.
He has a lot of other stuff to do
Yeah.
in book 3.
Dude, dude, book 3 is
Word mark.
book 3 is okay. So do we want to talk more about Shadowcroft or do we want to pivot to Dungeon Accountant?
So we'll pivot to Dungeon Accountant, but my questions are gonna kinda go back and forth.
Okay. Because it's a spin-off series. So Nathan
Yes.
Amy, and if you haven't read Thay Nexus, it's genius. Black Dawn. There's dice rolls, so it's game lit with dice rolls. Like so
Ooh,
some people liked it, some people didn't. So Nathan and I, he's a Shadowlay Press author. And so Nathan and I were talking and he had this great idea for like a dungeon like like a glow up, like go in and you figure out what's wrong with the dungeon, like a home and garden show, right?
yeah.
So
We got they flip houses.
like a flip houses, like a dungeon
Yeah.
flipper. And so I was like, um, and I want, and so he had this great idea and he wanted to write books with me. And so I'm like, and Nathan's great. And so I'm like, yeah. I can't do another because I was working in Shadowcroft and like I can work on multiple projects at the same time, but like they have to be extremely different or they have to be the same. So I'm like, Nathan, I can't do it. I have to stay in the Shadowcroft universe because I can't like do a different project. So can we put this in Shadowcroft universe? And he agreed. And so then we came up with the idea of a dungeon accountant who goes in and their job is to they audit dungeons. So here you have the fate of worlds, like right. And so you get an education, but like there's no sort of there's no like, "Hey, go save a world." So
Right.
so the dungeon of the Department of Universal Dungeon Efficiency was created.
Which was an amazing acronym by the way.
Dude,
Dude,
dude, the D
I love it.
Department of Universal Dungeon Efficiency, and they go in and they audit dungeons, and they're like, "Here, let me help you, like, let me help you, like, make your dungeon more lethal so you don't die," right?
Right.
And so and your dungeon is good, and so you can save worlds, right? Because that's why, Calcanus Eludere, who's a homely elf, he's like, I in the my like, me and Nathan went back and forth on this. In my mind, like, Cal has an overbite. He has, like, a big nose. He has, like, ears aren't very pointy, so he kinda looks humanish, and so he's a homely elf. Um, and so he loves spreadsheets, and one of the other thing I wanted to do with Dungeon Accountant was I really wanted to show the Shadowcroft universe from the point of view of the Dungeoneers. 'Cause in Shadowcroft, it's all about the dungeons, killing the
Mhm.
Dungeoneers. I really wanted to show the universe from the other side. And so Calcanus and his team of misfits is, they're former Dungeoneers who were destroying nodes in their quest for, godhood. And then they realized what they were doing was terrible, and they changed, and then they wanted to start helping the dungeons because the dungeons were the
Yeah.
good guys. And so in Dungeon Accountant, we get more of the guilds. There's these dungeoneering guilds who get together to destroy dungeons. And there's all the justifications, right? Of like all these people like, well, if you destroy a node, it doesn't really
Not
affect the
more.
world, right? It's not like we're destroying worlds. And then other
Right.
people just don't care. And they're like, yeah, I mean, there's how many worlds are there in the multiverse? There's a million. So what if a couple worlds, if you
Mm-mm.
wanna make an omelet, you gotta break a couple eggs. And so Cal and his group of misfits are working for Dude, but none of their coworkers trust them, right? Because 'Cause they're the bad guys, and their boss hates
Yeah.
them and wants them to fail. And Cal is I love Cal. Cal's one of my favorite characters because he is so like, ardent. He knows what he's doing is good. He loves data. He loves to go in, and he can go in and, like, see how the Apotho's working and, like, all of the stats. I mean,
Mhm.
and he just loves it. And then you have Helga Niebash, who's our barbarian, home designer. So she's a halfling, so she's this tiny little like knee bash, right? And these are all Nathan's characters. So when Nathan pitched me the idea, he came up with all these characters. I'm like, oh my God, these characters are great. So Helga
They're
rides a
amazing.
goat named Hurricane, and and Helga's like a berserker, but who also like has an eye for home decoration, right? So the jokes write
Mhm.
themselves. And then you have the structural engineer who's Guinevere Copperblade, who kind of still wants to be a dungeoneer. She's like, yeah, she's kind of our cynical, kind of snarky, no, very snarky. She kind of goes back and forth. She's a great character to
Mhm.
write too, because you always want to have that kind of like that there's a spoiler I won't give away, but she has very specific connections to the dungeon world. Um, and then last but not least, you have our trap springer and our all around just kind of goofy guy. He's Kronk, Sir Kronk, and all the trolls have an E, a silent E.
Fantastic.
It's a thing. And so he's a paladin, and so paladins have high charisma, and he does have high charisma if you're a troll. If you're not a troll, he is not a handsome man. Troll. And so he
But
worships
the trolleys love him.
he's very popular with the troll, and there's another troll who hates him, is jealous of him because he's so
Oh.
and Kronk just has a heart of gold. He loves cookies.
Aw.
The dungeon account books are just so like and the first one's called Audit Team 6.
Which is
The
fantastic.
second one's the Omega Audit because they go and they audit a planet
Mhm.
that's dying. Man, the
Ooh,
second book
nice.
is so good. And then the last one is it's pronounced controller, but I like to say comptroller because there's the P. But comptroller
Mhm.
carnage, where there's like at their home office, it's a lot of office dungeon. Their home office becomes a dungeon and there's hijinks and it's like
That's
a
kinda
Die
cool.
Hard. It's kind of like it's actually exactly like it's Die Hard. We do Die Hard in the dungeon world. So,
Nice. I'm gonna have to add Dungeon Accountant to my list because I haven't
mm.
read that one. I've just done the Shadowcroft, which I read all 3 books fairly quickly, and I think it's been my favorite read of 2025
Huh?
was the Shadowcroft Academy books. Yeah, I stayed up way too late reading them. I was very tired the next few days.
That's what we wanna
Just
hear.
couldn't I just kept reading and reading and reading. They were so funny.
That's awesome.
S what made you so for the Shadowcroft books, what made you pick a mushroom? Like,
Uh,
why mushroom?
so James and I okay, so this is the story of me and James writing. It's I will say this. all of you fans of Discount Dan, the reason why Discount Dan is so unhinged, I take full responsibility because
It's your fault.
Shadowcroft had to walk so Discount Dan could run. No, James watched that documentary. There's a documentary on Netflix on mushrooms,
Mhm.
and he was like, "Oh my god, mushrooms are so cool." And so, yeah, and mushrooms are so cool. And the fact that right now we have, like, fungal things in our bodies and, like, I'm breathing spores right now, and I'm in a basement, and I know I have black mold. I'm hoping it gives me superpowers. The fact that
Maybe.
and it's like this archaic form of life, right? Like,
Mhm.
that was one of the first kind of, like, this kind of, like, I don't know, funguses are just so interesting, and
Yeah,
so
with the I think it's the mycelium underground where they're all kind of interconnected, and
yeah,
you can have a mycelium growth that's, an entire forest wide and everything is connected.
yeah,
It's wild.
yeah,
Mushrooms are wild.
Earth's largest organism is a mushroom in Oregon. Yeah, but no, so mushrooms are super cool, and then you kinda get into the mushroom powers, and so
Yeah.
and all the things you can do with mushrooms and yeah.
Book 3 was wild. I mean, even this teacher, even the teacher of the mushroom class in book 3 was like, "Don't dig into this." Like, just don't do when you deeper into this, just leave it be. We need to go.
Dude, I love that was one of my favorite. There's so many so I like book 1. I like book 2 as well, because they're just so much fun. The
Mhm.
kitchen gas Melvin. I loved Melvin, my lady.
I was convinced the whole time
That he was the bad guy.
that he was the bad guy.
Oh,
I was
no, it's a
convinced the
red
whole
hair it's
time.
a spoiler. Red hair yes, Melvin could be the bad guy and
He
probably
could be.
is.
I was convinced through the whole book that he was.
Melvin was
From the
great.
beginning, I was like, "Ooh, this guy.
Oh, 'cause he's
It's gotta be
so
him."
awkward. Oh my god.
He
Um,
is.
book 3, like and it's frustrating because you want the best book to be like book 1. Because I love he leaves Shadowcroft, he goes to Nightfall University. I think it's Nightfall
Mhm.
University. And
Yeah.
he goes to the class and we use the whole, like, breakfast club, like, there's all of these, like, super duper because it's like a focus class on being a fungaloid, but all these
Mhm.
people are just, like, kind of, like, not very powerful, and they're kind of, like, quirky and odd, and,
Yep.
um, how the
And he
professor
was just like, he's almost like the celebrity
yeah, he's a total
of that group.
celebrity, right?
Yeah.
Because they're like it's like, it's like Madonna going to, like, a singing class, right? Or
Or karaoke or something.
right, because he goes in there and he's, like, saved the world a couple times and, like, is a big name, and they're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, Logan Murray, I can't believe" and they're, like, still, like, a C class. I think they're D and E class like, they're just and the
Yeah.
professor is like, you know more than me." I love the professor because he's talking with his dead wife. Oh my
The
god.
whole time.
But you don't know that until, like, the end because he's, like with just like, "Okay, I'm getting there. Don't nag. Come on."
Yeah.
He's like, "What is going on with these?" And then there's a
Yep.
guy who leaves, and he's like, "I don't need to sit with you losers anymore," and he leaves, but then he comes back,
Every time.
and then at the end, he's like, "You're my real
You're my best
family."
friend.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Mhm.
Oh my god. Those books. Those books.
And so I'm telling you, they
Oh
really are.
god.
They're good. They're good. They
Definitely
were
not
so
live
much
action.
fun.
You couldn't do a live action Shadowcroft.
No,
Y
no.
you'd have to
They were
do
so much fun to
it'd
read.
be
I'm like,
animated.
it's not even one of those books that's, because there's some books that are very serious, and
No.
I've read a few that I really have to push myself to get through. These were just fun. Just a fun, wholesome read.
Yeah, yeah, fun and, like, light, like, funny, there's not I mean, there's some pathos, right? I mean, the friendship
Yeah.
and that spirit of camaraderie,
Mhm.
the esprit de corps.
Nice. So there are so many different dungeons in these books. How did you guys come up with the different kinds of dungeons? Because you've got like a candy world, which was hilarious. The candy cane stalagmites and stalactites were so funny
So sharp.
when he had his mushrooms. Well, their mushrooms had to lick them to become sharp, which was funny.
So sharp.
It was such a
Like,
good image.
surprisingly sharp. Like, you'd think a candy cane, surprisingly sharp.
They
Um,
do though. They do get very sharp, but I was picturing in my head all the mushrooms up there, like, licking all these candy canes just as frantically as I could.
and Mariah Carey, we named a mushroom with the high pitched voice,
Yeah,
Mariah Carey.
yeah.
Um,
How did you come up with all the different dungeons and worlds?
um, well, a lot of them we planned out. One of my favorite ones is like it's like a undeath dead dungeon. In book one, they do a field trip to oh, what's his name? I have the World Bible up.
Oh, I can't remember it,
He's like a
but
ghoul.
he was surprisingly
Oh,
nice.
he was so nice. Kavandri
Yeah.
Spencer, who I named after Pinhead, the actor who played Pinhead. Um,
Nice. Appropriate.
He's a blade ghoul. So he's this like
Yeah.
ginormous like undead. He has like I think he has like knives in his face or whatever. Rotten leather overalls, like a 19th century Liverpool butcher, mercifully covered some of the bloat because he's a big, huge fat guy. Instead of a left hand, he
Mhm.
had a collection of knives sprouting from his wrist. He was bald with terrible slashes across his scalp. His ears looked like they'd been severed off with a chainsaw. Oh, rusty barbed wire had been wound around his head and cover his eyes. So he is like nightmare fuel, right?
Terrifying.
But he has a
Yeah.
cup that says it has a mug, so he's sipping coffee, and it says, "You don't have to be crazy to work here, but it helps." And he's like a dungeon core, but he's like a good
Mm.
attitude, but he's like
Yeah, he's super
horrific,
nice.
super nice, and and he has like all the undead tropes. So in that sense, I think we came up with like, okay, we need an undead dungeon, right? And so, okay, what kind
Mhm.
of undead dungeon are we gonna have? And so then it kind of, and then so we would spitball ideas and kind of like say, okay, what kind of dungeon? And then we would like go through the dungeon and so a lot of it is planned out. And so and we just kind of use kind of the trope of an undead dungeon. I think do we have in book 3 we have because it's all wrestler based, so we have like the roller derby. Well, it's like a
Mhm.
5-layer the dungeons get bigger and bigger and bigger as we go.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, there was the roller derby, there was the wrestling rink, or the wrestling ring. There was the circus
yeah,
with the trapeze everywhere.
that's right.
Just so much.
Well, and in Dungeon Accountant, we did a water slide dungeon. And
Oh,
what's fun,
fantastic. Yeah.
Matt Dinneman was like trying to come figure out the next one of his dungeon levels, and somebody suggested a water slide, not based on the Dungeon Accountant, but just So
Mhm.
you kind of look at different stuff. Like in book 4, we're gonna have like a 7-Eleven dungeon, so like a convenience store dungeon, and it kind of writes itself, right? Because you want to have like a Slurpee area with like Slurpee monsters and um processed meats, you could do something like
The
with,
hot
like,
dogs and the taquitos and
there
yeah.
you go. There you go. The hot dog right? I mean, so you kind of like, okay, what would a 7-Eleven dungeon or a convenience store dungeon have? And you're like, "Oh, okay." Right? And it kind of like,
Horrible, scary bathroom.
it you see, Jessica, you got it. Well, that's kinda what
Yeah.
we did, and we had to have a candy dungeon, and so we're like, "Okay, what is the candy dungeon?" We did the carnival dungeon with the saw. It starts off with the little guy on the tricycle. That was in book
Mhm.
2 because that was the cool one. So in book 2, we introduced the idea of dungeon versus dungeon. So
Yeah, the dungeon duels.
so then you could have so you can like create this interdimensional space that connects your entrance to your dungeon to the entrance to this dungeon. And then we also
Mhm.
introduced Jisoo, which was one of my favorite characters
She was
because
great.
my daughter loved she's a nine-tailed fox. And we named her Jisoo after one of the women from Blackpink. And she is vicious. And I like because
She
she's
was.
'cause people are terrified of her, she's so nice. "Hello, guys."
Yeah.
She's like, "The"
Yeah.
and then she kills you because you're bad, and she hunts down, like, rogue dungeons, not to be
Mhm. She takes her
confused.
job very
Yes, yes,
seriously.
yes, she's great, and
'Cause she's so on Logan, like, when she's like, "Logan,"
because she knows, Fungaloid.
she knows. She knows what they can do eventually.
Jisoo makes an appearance in Dungeon Accountant 3. Very
Ooh,
important. She's a very, very important character in
I can't wait to read that series.
Yeah, Dungeon Accountant 3 is my favorite. Um,
I'm gonna pick them up. It's gonna be probably I'll probably read them in early 2026. My TBR just keeps
oh,
growing
yeah, and people keep writing
so
books,
much.
these
It's
people.
never ending.
Yeah.
I do have a question from one of my Patreon members, Brandon Bernard. Hi,
Yes. Hi,
Brandon.
Brandon.
He wants to know what unspoken part of yourself do you put in your protagonists?
Man,
It's a
um
tough question.
um, I'm a very negative person, right? I'm I look at the world like treacle glimmer happy naturally. Um,
Hmm.
and he's not happy. Um,
He's not.
so I think the unspoken part of myself is that me striving to be positive. Um, and that kind of like having a good attitude and a positive attitude. So I kind of cosplay it in my main characters. And like it teaches me um to bounce back from adversity. And I think that's one of the great joys of books is that we get to be shown how to be heroes, right? Um,
Hmm.
and I really like Cal because Cal loves his job so much, and he cares so deeply, and he's, like, fully invested. I'm a big fan of, Twin Peaks, and one of the reasons I love, Special Agent Dale Cooper because he's so like a Boy Scout. He's so that kind of like and that's why I like the new Superman, because there's that, like, I wanna be helpful, and I wanna have a good
Hmm.
attitude, and I wanna be durable. So I think that's and being a writer so I've been doing this for a long time, um, and there's that it can get kind of some people get huge success, and I've been successful but I've not had that, like, the Matt Dinniman, they're making movies, people are cosplay like, right? I mean, this just hasn't happened to me. And then I get sad and I'm like, "Well, it's never gonna happen." And then that's untrue. I don't know what's gonna happen. I mean, the Denver Broncos are like one of the best teams in football. I did not see that happening, especially with the way they've been playing. Um,
You never know.
so you just don't know. So I think that would be
Yeah.
the answer to that question. And so both like Logan has that stick to itiveness and that like um and always lessons to learn. So I also believe fiction is a way so I'm a fan of Save the Cat. Blake Snyder's it's a screenwriting and I kind of like I use it for my books. And he calls story as being change engine. So you have a character who's this way, things happen to them, they change,
Mhm.
they grow, and they're able to overcome adversity. And that's I like that story. I like writing that story because I believe
Yeah.
life is hard, right? And we have
Yeah.
adversity.
Yeah.
So,
It's not always happy.
not always happy. These books are happy though. So,
These books are
but
happy.
there is a dark moment, like in every book.
There are a couple.
But
There are a couple.
it's not like anime dark moments, man. I've been watching anime
No.
and I love anime because it's everything is turned to 11, and I like that.
Mhm. Yeah. So you have written a ton of books. I've been in many, many genres. What is your favorite and least favorite genre to write in? Or do you have favorites and least favorites?
I like fantasy science fiction. Um, I like these books don't have romance. Um, I'm drawn my pen name who I can't talk about till after 10 PM. Um, that's probably my favorite is I don't write r I don't write romantasy per se,
Mhm.
but, my favorite is that like fantasy or science fiction or like some sort of like speculative fiction elements with a heavy focus on romance is really my favorite thing to write. And I like game lit, right? I like having that progression and I like showing it, right? Rather than like
Yeah.
I like showing it and having the progression and that. So my least favorites, but I like everything. I like watching the Oscar movies, like the movies that are very serious and then I like watching 80s schlocky post-apocalyptic like chainmail bikinis, right? I so I like story, I like characters, I like setting. Um I
There's a time and a place for
time
everything.
and a place, right? One thing that I don't but it's not my if I got to choose, I would rather do epic fantasy than urban fantasy. I'm not a huge urban fantasy guy. I'm working
Mhm.
on a but that's not true because I'm working on an urban fantasy now that I'm really enjoying. Um, but most of the time, I like building that other world. I like the tropes of epic fantasy. I'm a huge Tolkien person. Um, so that's the answer to that question.
Okay. And a lot of your books are co-authored. How what got you into co-authoring? How does that process work?
That's an interesting. I my first co-authoring experience was bad. We became like I wrote
Mm.
a couple rom
I see, I would always worry about that.
it 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 didn't start off bad and we're good now. I wrote books, I wrote some romances with a friend. I've written so many books alone. I'm now officially taking a break from co-authoring after I finished book 4 because I've done a lot of I did books with James Hunter, I did books with Nathan Amy, I did books with DJ Butler. Like co-authoring because one of the funnest parts of co-authoring is you get to like spend time with your friend and it's just playing pretend,
Mhm.
right? It's just playing pretend.
Yeah.
Um, and it's going back and forth in the ideas and I love it. I love that process. And it's a way of we live in a world where having more books out is better financially. Um, and so it's a way of getting more books out faster. Um, and I just like the whole thing. And I've done it so much that I kind of understand kind of what needs to happen and I understand one of the biggest things, having an outline, agreeing on the outline and not straying from the outline is important. Also, some person has final say. So if there is
Mhm.
conflict, it needs to be set
Yeah.
up beforehand. They're like, okay, you have so James had final say. So in one of our books, I had an undead Icarus with swords for arms and swords for legs. And as James said, no.
That's wild.
He said, no, we are not doing undead Icarus. Too much. But my Toromino, so a Minotaur has like body of a man. So
Mhm.
a Toromino has the body of a bull and the head of a man, and he also had a tail that fired lava.
Oh,
I did not get
man.
undead Icarus, but I did get the Toromino. So it all works out in the end.
How much research did you have to do on silverware?
Okay. There was a throwaway line about silverware. So I was writing, it's the super boring professor. Oh, what's his name? What's his name?
Is it, Bertrand?
I think so.
Neckbet or something?
Neckbet, yeah,
Professor
Bartholomew
Neckbet?
Neckbet.
Bartholomew. Yeah,
So
Bartholomew Neckbet.
who he has a huge crush on,
Crush.
and he says,
She loves his neck waddle.
because her hey, Neckwaddle does it for because she's a bird woman, right? Because she grew up
Mhm.
like her new so before she was isekai, she was a bird woman, and so then she became a butterfly woman. So it was a throw. He's so Professor Neckbeck, uh, paunchy Birdman monsters, so dry and boring, and Inga has a crush on him. Big vulture head with big waddle. It's so red, my god, the waddle on him and those feathers, so sleek, and she's so smitten by him. And then and then she's like, Bart, I call him I call him Bart, but not to his face. Bart and I were
Right.
talking, and um, throwaway line about, and I'm looking at my notes of the World Bible, wrote a travelogue called The Butter Knives of Eritreus. And Eritreus is kind of like the big, huge, like richest, it's like the opposite of Earth, right? Earth doesn't have a lot of
Mhm.
magic. Eritreus is like 15 different nodes, all like it's like at the center of like the whole dungeoning world. And so there's a throwaway line that I don't know what comes out of me, right? I'm like, I was writing, I was like, what is the most boring travelogue you could think of? And the butter knives
Silverware.
of Eritreus. And so then we were talking and we were like, we both like, why butter knives? And then we're like, what if there's this whole silverware thing? And then it spiraled out of control. And then James likes to talk about the Q factor. So in when he comes up with a book, he thinks, okay, what is so in James Bond is always given a Q from the Q branch. He's always giving these little like gadgets, and then one of the
Mhm.
gadgets at the end helps him save the day, right? And so James was like, "What kind of Q gadget could we give him? What kind of Q gadget?" And so we have all these silverware jokes, and we committed to the bit. One thing about me and James, we commit to the bit. And so
You sure did.
Inga becomes obsessed, and that's one of the I think that's one of the lessons that Inga learns is like, interest is good and like, but you have to control your obsessions. And it's, when you're really smart and getting into something, I mean, and so so the silverware plays a role at the end in Act 3, plays a
It
role in the
does.
book.
It
And
does.
I would just come up with I come up with like strawberry spoon and I think I liked it, but like if you think about it, like you wouldn't really have a strawberry spoon, you'd have a fork.
Yeah.
Um and then
But that's part of what makes it so
I'm
wacky.
like, "A spoon?" Like, "Yeah, Ritchey and strawberry spoon." Yeah, it's a 14th century. They like the full complement of silverware for the Eritrean dinner table, and dungeon accountant, more silverware jokes. And actually,
Oh my gosh.
Nathan wrote this whole thing about a conspiracy, and anyway, book 3, I wrap it up, and I'm very proud. We committed to the bit, and so
I mean, and it was a huge part of book 2.
yeah, eh,
It was a huge part of book
and
2.
then you have to keep it going.
I mean, yeah.
So,
Once you put it in there like that, you're stuck with it. You're stuck with it.
I don't know.
So is there only going to be 4
Yeah,
books?
4 books.
And that's it? And then what about the Dungeon Accountant
Yeah,
series?
that's done at 3.
What was your favorite part about writing the Dungeon Accountant series? I mean, you would look at a Dungeon Accountant series and be like, "Oh, really?
Oh,
Accounting?"
ugh. Yeah, but it's accounting, but it's also like the dungeon flip, right? It's that
Yeah.
same scratch of like improvement, right? In the
Yeah.
first book, the dungeon is a hoarder, but he's a slime dungeon. So all of his slime pits are
Oh,
covered
no.
with like cardboard boxes.
Oh,
I
no.
wrote this from personal experience. My father-in-law was a hoarder, and we had to clean out his house. It's super gross. And so it's that feeling of improvement, right? It's like going in and it's
Mhm.
funny and Cal like and accounting and like auditing and like going in and like what's good and what's bad, right? And taking stock and that whole thing. It was just so much fun. And the characters are just so outlandish. I mean, Cal is like the straight man, but then you have Helga who has anger issues and like it has her weapon is a two-handed crowbar. And so she demolishes things and like I mean the characters are so much fun to write. Um my favorite part of books of Dungeon Accountant was book 3.
What's your favorite dungeon?
Dude, I will tell you, it's in it
There's a lot of good
there's a lot
ones.
of good ones, but my favorite oh, I really like the Blade Ghouls, Kavandri Spencer's dungeon, because I'm a big fan of horror movies.
Mhm.
So I think like a horror movie themed dungeon I really liked. Oh, see, there's a lot. This is a hard question because there's so many. I I really liked in book 3 of Dungeon Accountant. We did too many dungeons, right? We did too many dungeons. We did like
No.
dude, the book 2 dungeon.
Nonsense.
Actually, all of the dungeons, actually the better dungeons, because I had not read, I'd read Dakota Kraut's Divine Dungeon books,
And
which
this
are kind of more of a straight up dungeon, or at least, yeah, they're more of a straight up dungeon. These are not the wacky factor. And so I create a bunch of dungeons with James for Shadowcroft, but then I got into that idea, and I think I liked the dungeons in the Dungeon Accountant books better. I really liked, Otis's dungeon. He's the slime person, in book
Mhm.
1. Um, I really in book 2, they guard Mimi's dungeon on this dying world, and it's kind of this ant it's kind of like, like, I always thought ant farms are super cool.
They
And
are.
so it's like an ant farm
Mhm.
dungeon, so you could like it's like open. There's like a abyss. So
Ooh.
it's like an open face dungeon. So you can kind of see the different levels and as they go through
Yeah.
down to the bottom. Mimi's dungeon is super good in the Omega audit. And all of the different dungeons in book 3 of Dungeon Accountant, the controller dungeons, because we had 5 layers of dungeons, and so we have a high school dungeon, which is no, I just realized my favorite dungeon. My favorite dungeon is the dungeon in book 3 of Shadowcroft that they make because they call Gugazon, and they make a dungeon
Yes.
that's they
The
make
fake
a
one
fake
on top of
dungeon
the
of
real
Reka,
one.
that's my favorite dungeon. 'Cause they have the
Yeah.
and I love
Yeah.
that we introduced because I'm like, "James, we can't put Gugas on because that, like, world building wise, it opens up all of this, like, why didn't they talk about it in book 1?" He's like, "No, no, no, be fine. Don't worry about it." And then Marco's like, because like, Logan asked, like, because when you break your world, you have to, like, hang a lantern on it because people know, right? People are like, "Well, why didn't you
Mhm.
have" right? It's like, "Well, the Eternals, why didn't the Eternals, help stop, the Chitauri in Marvel?" Is you just gonna
Yeah.
hang a lantern on it. So Logan's like, "Wait a minute, there's a delivery service where you can order stuff?" And Marco's like, "Yeah, but we don't really use it because we don't like to support big
Right.
tech."
Well, but also when Logan gets isekai'd into this world, he doesn't have any money. He doesn't
Yeah, he
know
never has any money,
about
right?
any of that.
Yeah.
And everything's taken care of at the school. Like they supply the food
The rotting food
and
that
all
he
that
keeps
stuff.
under his bed. Oh,
Yeah.
that rotting chicken, man. It starts turning green, it starts really smelling. Oh, it
Mm.
just gets so good. Mm.
His digestion
His
pits.
digestion.
Yeah.
Ah, curdled milk is also really good. Um
Hmm.
No, no, so the Gugazon dungeon, when they order it and it's just like paper mache, like Halloween
Yeah.
spiders, and oh my god, that was so funny. Oh, it's so
It
funny.
was really good. It
That's
was
my
good.
favorite dungeon, is the Gugazon dungeon in book 3.
I liked the Wonka-esque dungeon when they did the candy world. The very beginning entrance to the dungeon, they had Inga's I think it was River Boy who was at
Right.
the desk, like the receptionist.
That was book 2, right?
It was book 3. I think it was no, it was the candy dungeon,
In book 3?
and so that would have been book boy. Well, that would have been him and Inga the
Okay,
second part of the tournament.
because we did the tournament, that's right, that's right, that's right.
Yeah, so the first one he was on his own, second one he was with Inga, and then the third round he was able to bring everyone. So the second one they got stuck because it was a random draw and they got stuck with the candy like sucrose or sucrose world.
Sucrosia is the candy world.
Yeah.
Does sugar rot? Not sure. Twilicia is a gloomy world full of shadow creatures. What's the difference between a ghost and a shadow creatures? Shadow creatures poop. I know that for a fact. Oh my god. Oh my
Your notes are hilarious.
um, I'm looking for the name of it. What was the name?
It was like Raleigh Wonkos or something, or Wally Warm
It was Wally Wanko's Murder Factory.
Wally Wanko, yeah.
Okay, because we couldn't do Willy Wonka because we don't wanna get sued, so we called it Wally Wanko. Okay, yes. And they had the soda pop room with the candy blade fans. Okay.
Mhm.
Alright, alright.
Yeah, that was the one with the candy
And
canes.
the candy canes.
That one was just hilarious.
Oh, Mariah looked dubious. She squeaked suspiciously. Mushrooms not growing on the ground tend to suffer from vertigo. I prefer to verta stay. Oh my god, that's terrible.
The puns. The puns were great.
Ah! I'd like to thank Dakota Croft for every single pun I've ever written. So,
I kind of want to ask you to get your guitar. How easily accessible is your guitar?
oh no, I couldn't. Jessica. Oh, it's so far away. I really couldn't. Oh, I just can't. Okay. All right. Maybe I'll find it. Maybe I'll find it a little bit. Maybe. It should be in tune, except I don't know if that helps not. So this is the world premiere of
Ooh.
Dungeon Crawler Carl Blues. Now, James did not like this song because he said it was
Ooh.
sad. So I went to my
James
guitar
isn't here.
teacher and I was like, my friend thought my Dungeon Crawler Carl Blues song was sad. And my teacher was like, so your song that's the blues is too sad for your friend. And I was like, "You're right. He's dumb." Okay, you ready? This is called the
I'm
Dungeon
ready.
Crawler Carl Blues. Dungeon Crawler Carl always makes me cry. Dungeon Crawler Carl always makes me cry. And if I can't write a book like that, I'll lay down and die. Oh Lord, help me. Oh, that Matt Dinneman writes that book so well. Oh, that Matt Dinneman writes that book so well. And if I can't write a book like that, damn my soul to hell. Oh no, hold on. Oh, Princess Donut. The character is so good. Oh, Princess Donut. The character is so good. Guess I'll keep on writing my own books. Like every writer should. Thank you. Good night. Here I am to talk about my own books. And who am I talking about? Matt fucking Dinneman. And that happens. Like people are like, "Oh, you write lit? Like, what's lit RPG? You know? Oh, you're a writer. What do you write? I read lit RPG. Oh, really? I've not heard of that." And then I say, "Oh yeah, you should read Dungeon Crawler Carl." Matt doesn't need my help. He's a world famous bassist. I've seen Matt Dinneman's band Digging for Change. I'm not kidding. He's very talented. So
Mhm.
yeah, we love Matt Dinneman. We love Dungeon Crawler Carl. I read a ton of books, and I just read the first one to kinda get a sense, and I couldn't I had to read I've read the first 5, so I'm behind. So,
Yeah.
and here we are
Yeah, for me, it's the audiobooks for that one.
and that's what I'm doing. I'm gonna listen to book 6 on audio, so because 'cause I've not heard
Yeah.
any of the audiobooks. So,
Ooh.
this is
You'll never go back.
that Jeff
You'll
Hayes.
never go back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Alright, I have one final question for you.
okay, yeah, hit me.
If you had a, 'If 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 you had a, ' stat or a skill, what would your main stat or skill be?
Writing books fast. Like, if there's like a skill level, like, I
Mhm.
can write books fast. So, the fastest book I've ever written
Nice.
was 10 days. Yeah.
What? Now, but is that like
No.
normal novel length or RPG novel length? Because those are
Oh.
two different things.
Oh, this was normal novel length. This isn't like because
Yeah.
your typical lit RPG now is like 125,
Ah,
150.
it's too much. Yeah, it's way too
Well,
long.
and this is the reason why the Shadowcroft books are so long is that you have story. And me and James wouldn't plan for the stat and, like, the cultivation stuff and also like, going through your stats and upgrading and,
Mhm.
getting experience points and, like, right? I mean, like,
Yeah.
all of the character sheet stuff that we didn't plan for, and so we put it in, so, like and so, you know yeah, so you get both. You get both story and stats. So, yeah.
It was I'm not typically a huge fan of overly crunchy stat heavy books. This one was just enough. It was just enough.
Oh,
It
thank you.
wasn't you laid out all the stats and the upgrades, but I didn't find myself just skipping ahead of it like I do in some books.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I loved, James wrote a lot of the stats stuff, and I loved
Yeah, he's really good at
he's
that.
really good at that, and he's only
Yeah,
gotten better, right? Discount Dan and,
yeah,
like, the whole magic system of Discount Dan is genius. I
it is. Yeah, he gives you just enough to keep you
Yeah.
interested and not so much that I'm like, "Okay, I'm just gonna skip past
No,
this."
he's for real, and when he pitched
Yeah.
Backrooms for me, when he pitched that Discount Dan, I was like, "Okay, we're gonna write it together," and he's like, "No." And I was crushed because I loved the idea. I couldn't talk
Yeah,
about it. Then he would like, "Hey, come and help me brainstorm," and I'd be like, "No, I can't. You broke my heart, James. I
can't do it.
can't do it."
Not unless you let me help.
No. So, no,
Mm.
those books are so good. They're so good.
They are
They're so
they are
good.
good. Was there anything that I didn't talk
Do
about that you wanted to bring up?
No, we've this is there's nothing left. I could talk to you about my childhood and like we could get like no, my stat, yeah, write books fast, right? Um And the love of it, right? I mean, you can't really that's not really a skill. A skill is writing books fast, right? And finishing.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a sk that's a buff and a debuff, is finishing. That's like it's great to have unless I'm working on something like I had to finish book 6 of this series that didn't sell well. So
Mhm.
there's a shadow side to it, right? So
Yeah.
but, like,
Yeah.
if I that'd be fun to, like, come up with this, the skills and stats of a perfect writer. So, good constitution. I take my health very seriously, um,
That's good.
because I can't write books if I'm sick or dead, and so,
No.
um,
That'd be a little hard. That'd be tough.
back, and I take care of my back because it's a lot of and I can't man, I tried dictating. That would be a skill, like, if I could, like if somebody was, like if I got, like, a loot box and they're, like, pick a skill, I would think dictating. Dictating is, like, super, super, super powerful, and I've tried, it's just I like my but I'll tell you, my fingers, like, I'm losing like, every year, I lose my, like, carpal tunnel goes a little my hands and wrists,
Mm.
so but I now switch keyboards, and I take a lot of breaks, and so, anyway.
Good. Do some hand stretches,
I need
like
to do more
some
hands.
rotating
I
and
need to do that more. So, when I get, like, a couple 10,000 days days back to back, I feel kinda badass because I ice my wrists and my hands. I'll be like, That's hardcore. I'm kinda digging
that
that."
is hardcore.
Yeah. Heal spell, like, if I could find a heal spell,
Ooh,
yeah.
that would be good too, yeah.
No,
Oh, yeah.
that's fun. That's fun. And this is why
Yeah, I think that's a good skill though.
yeah, do finishing books, when I start a book, I finish, and also, I like to write, right? I like to get in
Yeah.
that world and, like, I don't know, it's fun. It's fun. I was bored to
Nice.
do this. There's nothing else I'd rather be doing with my life. So,
You know what? And that's absolutely fantastic. Like, it's always great to find that thing that you were meant to do.
Yeah, and I've wanted to be a writer all my life. So, like, I read in the 3rd grade, I read Princess of Mars, Edgar Rice Burroughs, which is romantasy. I mean, and that's what drew me to it because I like the other world, and there's this big love affair between John Carter and Deja Thoris. And, have you seen the movie?
Mm-mm.
No, no, it's past its time, man. It's for old people. So, no, and so I wanted to be a writer since the 3rd grade. And so
Nice.
I get to be a writer and I get to do what I love. And it's hard. It's not easy, right? So that's why I write the blues because I'm like, how come I don't have Matt Deniman's career? Why, God, why? So that yeah, focus. I mean, you focus. I like my days. I like what I'm doing. I like my books. I love my books. As you can see, I love talking about my books. So
Yeah.
I've not always. This is new, Jessica. I was not always like this. So I used to not be able to talk. It was I wouldn't tell anybody I was a writer. I couldn't talk about my books. Like, no, no, it's too personal. This is my secret dream. So
Yeah, I can see that.
yeah, this is. I've come a long way.
Yeah. I mean, especially if it's at the beginning of your writing career, because you do as a writer, like you put your heart and soul and everything of who you are into books, and it's a very it's very fragile and yeah.
Yes, and that's one of the nice things about me. Like I'm gonna do this no matter what. And so I've been
Mhm.
posting stuff on Royal Road, and I've got very few negative comments. Um, and when I do, I'm like, is this one random person gonna make me not write books? I'm like, so I'm gonna do this regardless. And if no one's reading them, I mean, oh well, I'm just gonna keep doing it. Somebody's gonna read them sometime.
Yep.
So
Someone somewhere will read it.
and I love the back and this is also new, I didn't think. I love the back and forth between the commenters and people commenting and, like, thanking me for the chapter, and I thank them, and we're just happy. We're just
Aw.
so happy, like, people reading my stuff. Like, "Oh." No, and this I
It helps with the motivation.
yeah, I don't I but I would do this anyway. I'm very surprised that I like it so much. I'm like, I fought it, I'm like, "There's no way I'm ever gonna do that." And then I'm like, "Let me try it," and I've loved it. I've loved it. I've loved it. It's so much fun.
Good.
So much and good comments, like, people, like, find stuff, and they're like, "No, no, no, this doesn't make sense," or no, it's so much fun. So, and thank you, Jessica, for doing this. Thank you for spreading the word of Lit RPG and Game Lit and Shadowcroft Academy for Dungeons.
This is what I like doing.
So this is great. So we're all like, the world is a good place right now. Right now. Right
Yes.
now.
For the most part. Right this second,
Right now.
in my office, the world is a good
Yeah.
place. All right, where can people find you if they wanna find your books?
Aaron Michael, dude, if you want to take a trip back into the back in time, go to my website, aaronmritchey.com, and you will see a world before now. My website's so old. It's really old. A better place to go is shadowalleypress.com. It's a much better website. You can find all the Shadow Alley Press books there. I really like Facebook, which I know you're not supposed to, but I really do. Um, and those are the 2 major places. So, and I'm on Facebook all the
Okay.
time under Aaron Michael Ritchey. So,
I always link to people's socials and their websites, in the, podcast notes and on YouTube, so I will link people to your
and I
website
do have an Aaron Michael Ritchey
and reaching publishers.
Patreon, but I'm gonna be more active there, especially next year because 'cause we're doing the big re-release and, like, so I'll be more active there. So,
Nice.
alright.
Awesome. Well, as always,
Lovely.
you can find me at iowpod.com. You can find me on YouTube. I have my Patreon, which my subscribers will get a newsletter every month with the upcoming Lit RPG books for the month, as well as reminders when episodes come out. Thank you so much, Aaron Michael Ritchie, for coming
Thank
on.
you, Jessica, this has been so much fun.
I absolutely loved it. Thank you, everyone, for sticking with us. And thank you, Jennifer, for being my editor.
Thank you,
I
Jennifer.
do a lot of work. All right. As always, keep leveling up.
Leveling up.